Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. Just something I'd like to touch on for a couple of seconds. The information is becoming more clear as the days go on. This is of course obviously speculation, as I am not a member of NASDAQ and have no affiliation with them. It's just something that I kind of picked up, especially when you start to connect the dots. Anyway, we spoke about this a couple of days ago, and it appears that more news is constantly coming out about the situation. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. NASDAQ, America's second largest exchange, recently indicated that the financial institution's blockchain project could include or involve cryptocurrency payments to streamline their business processes. However, they added that the plan would probably not include Bitcoin. Johan Toll, NASDAQ head of blockchain product development, recently mentioned in an interview that the institution had started using decentralized blockchain technology to improve and power its European mutual fund business. Johan Toll went on to reveal that 8 Swedish banks were collaborating with the exchange for the usage of private permission hybrid ledgers to refine mutual fund trading. He stated, "The mutual fund business in Sweden, in the Nordics, in Europe, and in many places in the world are very, very fragmented, a lot of intermediaries. It takes a long time to settle the trades, and it's a lot of manual intervention. Fax machines are even still used," end quote. He further added, "So for that, we see where blockchain can really have a really good role here for how we could create a shared trusted network between the intermediaries and guarantee that the transfer and issuance of those shares, as well as manage the payment of those shares as well," end quote. I spoke about this in the last video, or maybe even one before that, where I was talking about why blockchain is so important. And I think a lot of people don't really or haven't completely understood exactly why this is taking over the world and why cryptocurrencies are going to take over the world. It has to come down to the fact that banks and countries don't really trust each other, regardless of what you see on television, regardless of when you see them shaking hands, laughing, at events together, standing together, taking photos. The actual situation is that this is why we have, it sounds stupid, but this is why we have spies. Countries don't actually trust each other. And what blockchain and cryptocurrencies are allowing them to do is to not only knock out all the intermediaries and the fourth and fifth parties that money has to go through, it's now an immediate thing that happens between two parties that neither one of them can deny. Because before, especially with how the financial world has been built, if something went wrong and presumably 5 to 6, 7 people were involved, you would have to do a lot of diligent work to be able to figure out exactly who was responsible for that mishap. With blockchain, everything is right there in your face. It's completely, transparent, as it were, and everything can kind of be seen. And this is why the world is, or why financial institutions are falling over themselves to start integrating crypto and to start integrating blockchain into their systems. Toll indicated that the usage of cryptocurrency for complete peer-to-peer payments was also being considered. However, he did not believe in the theory that Bitcoin was the right match for NASDAQ. He clarified that the distinction between Bitcoin and blockchain was that the former was generally public and had open participation, while NASDAQ was more focused on blockchain core technology for the financial markets. He added, "The problem with Bitcoin is that if something goes wrong, you don't have anyone to call. There's no one to sue or get your money back. So if they get your private key, they can literally steal all your Bitcoin, and there's no way for you to get them back." Johan said that he was convinced of blockchain technology's potential and believed that it would eventually revolutionize trading processes for major market exchanges around the world. So this is where I said this is kind of a 2.0 from what we were talking about before. It seems very, this is, of course, my own opinion. This is exactly what's going to happen, or what may even happen is kind of me connecting the dots very rapidly, because once again, this is why I love the internet. Everything is kind of at your fingertips. There was an article, I don't know if we even spoke about this before when it actually even first came up, for those who are not looking at the screen. The article is titled, "Ripple listing on NASDAQ in 2019 is aimed to destabilize Coinbase." And that has been kind of a rumor for a very long time. And then you kind of dig a bit deeper and you actually find that within the article, it actually has something right here. It says a negotiation has been going on for months now, with Ripple pushing to have its XRP amongst the first coins listed with NASDAQ. It says the back and forth, president of NASDAQ in 2019. NASDAQ listing XRP in 2019 is huge news and makes Coinbase irrelevant, hashtag XRP. We also mentioned this before in the other video as well, and I thought it was kind of weird, and I don't know, maybe it's just me. You can really just tell me if I'm connecting too many dots or if I'm kind of overlooking something or underlooking something. There have been a lot of situations over the last year where there have been like conferences that NASDAQ has been at, and Brad Garlinghouse has also been there as well. And it's usually like a panel where they're talking about cross-border payments and systems and trusting systems and interledger and blah, 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 so and so and so. And it's always the team of NASDAQ sitting directly next to Garlinghouse, and they kind of like, not high five each other, but they're kind of like playing off of each other as they kind of go along. And the fact that, I don't know where this came from, or the fact that people thought that Bitcoin would have been the currency that would have been used in order to send payments back and forth, especially through NASDAQ. This is why I also mentioned before that I think that this is why the Lightning Network has been pushed so heavily, while there's so much money being put into it, figuratively and literally, as far as like people actually stashing their Bitcoin on the Lightning Network. I feel like people are trying to make sure that the Lightning Network grows fast enough so that we won't have this problem as well next year. But as of right now, I don't still think, according to also major Bitcoin maximalists and stuff as well, that the Lightning Network for Bitcoin, especially not the one for Litecoin, is not even like close to being worldwide consumer ready. But we've heard many times before that the NASDAQ team has praised the Ripple team for actually coming to them, talking to them, being very open about regulation and being open about clarity and helping them to understand blockchain technology. And then also the Ripple team kind of doing the same thing back and forth. So it appears that, especially because of the other video and also this one, that it appears that Ripple is going to be, I can't say partnered with them, but it's clear that XRP is going to be listed onto NASDAQ first. It's just a matter of if it will actually be used, because it's NASDAQ is apparently looking for a currency, cryptocurrency, that they can be able to use between multiple countries, which is kind of the reason why we have XRP. And also, if you like, NASDAQ also has a ton of articles like directly on their website where they talk about like the strengths of XRP and how good XRP is and what XRP is going to be used for, and like the banking institutions who are going to be using it and the other institutions and so and so and so. So it seems a little weird that NASDAQ itself would have articles directly about XRP, the hidden strength of XRP, and also just talking about the other uses and what have you of the token itself. And then to not, once again, all speculation, but it would be a very interesting moment in cryptocurrency history if not only is XRP listed as one of the very first coins on NASDAQ, and keeping this time frame in mind, this is all supposed to happen within this month. We have about, 21 days left in this month. We have other cryptocurrency products and projects who have announced that they're going to be listing their custody solutions, or they're launching or trading platforms in like the 20th of this month. So good 11 days away. NASDAQ has up to this point not said anything about a delay of launching what they plan on launching. And I think it's going to be a cryptocurrency exchange, if I'm not mistaken. I think that the New York Stock Exchange, what they plan on doing was the backed thing, so that companies can accept cryptocurrencies, and also the other part of backed, or rather they also plan on launching Bitcoin futures. But I think that the NASDAQ is going to be launching a cryptocurrency exchange. If XRP is one of the very first coins on there, as in Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and then they announce that XRP is actually going to be the thing that they're going to use to transfer money between European banks, which could also then be the banks that Brad Garlinghouse was talking about that would be using XRP by the end of this year, because he said dozens of banks are going to be using it. He didn't say a dozen, he didn't say 10, he said dozens, and this was quoted many times. He also said this multiple times on other different platforms, and I can only assume, as English is probably his first language, he knows the difference between a dozen and dozens. So, all speculation, obviously. I say speculation simply because I cannot say for sure, but it's fairly certain where all of this is going. It would be a very interesting moment, and I know a lot of people would already have a problem with me saying that, and also with it actually happening, but it's fairly clear, especially when you look at like the board of members who are actually on the Ripple team. Not only do they have people from like major banks around the world who've also like quit their banking jobs to work for Ripple, which is kind of insane. They also have people from the SEC, which is all these institutions and companies kind of work together. So I think I would be more shocked if they didn't announce that XRP was going to be one of the coins that would actually be used for transferring value around the world. Anyway, I think that's definitely going to do it for this video. Just connecting the dots. I saw this and I thought it was kind of weird that they openly came out and announced that Bitcoin would not be one of the things that they would use to transfer value. I'm very, very interested. I mean, we've been waiting for so long for this. We've been waiting for this moment where we finally get clarification or clarification from the NASDAQ as to exactly which coins they're going to list. Fidelity just launched, and I'm glad because they didn't mention at all that they were going to have any delays. They didn't delay. They launched it exactly in March as they said. And the NASDAQ is also meant to launch their product as well in this month. No word as far as a delay, but yeah, I guess maybe that's it. I mean, fingers crossed that they actually do this, because hopefully it has some beneficial effect on the cryptocurrency market, which doesn't seem to move. I want to say the market doesn't really, it hasn't taken well to much other news, but one would assume that the second largest stock exchange in the entire world should probably have a relatively beneficial effect on the cryptocurrency market, especially because, if I'm not mistaken, once again, you'll be able to trade cryptocurrencies back and forth on the NASDAQ, and one can only assume that there won't be people trading, $50, $100, $200 back and forth. It'll probably be $500,000 at a time. Anyway, I think that's definitely going to do it for this video. I'm incredibly excited, if you could not tell. Relatively early in the morning-ish, kind of, not really. Just thought I'd connect some dots and talk a little bit about it, because I find all this very fascinating. There's so many things happening behind the scenes. This is why you should not be swept up in just the idea of where prices are going. It's more like the actual adoption. And now that we know that all these things are happening, that the NASDAQ has been publishing articles talking about how great XRP is, you should kind of get a clearer understanding of exactly where this industry is going. Alrighty, everyone. That is definitely going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever in this crazy world you might be. Hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and listening. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Vlad the Impaler, Gilboa Snake, Rai, Brady Niels, L. Doug, Arthur Yaku, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Nick Mangialavori, Travis Haynes, Yasha Harari, Anthony Charles, Nick Kanaya, singer-songwriter, Mike Savitz, Wise Night Owl, Joey Carafa, Crypto Joe, Jim Gardner, Jared Schneider, Jeremy Fox, Amy Starsheen. Tried to do it all in one breath. I couldn't do it. Richie Rich III, Jeffrey Ramsey, Cody, Carl Birchenuff, Paxis, and Jeffrey Dam. Thank you all very, very much for your generosity. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.